Hey, folks, just getting settled here. Give us a minute or so while the screen pops up. And there we go.
Oh, kind of delayed it a little.
Well, this one does.
Oh, okay.
But not this one. So now we wait and see who gets to come to class tonight.
All right.
So we're going to be saying a lot of hellos tonight. This is Linda Szabo.
Hey.
This is the first time we've actually met in person.
That's right. That's right. We both wore blue tonight.
We did. And I'm super excited. This is our first side-by-side live here.
On the porch.
Coming at you, yeah, from Bridge headquarters.
That's right.
In beautiful Gloucester, Mass. So hello.
A beautiful night.
Anna Lee, how are you?
Anna Lee.
Good to see you. She is always first to class.
Oh,
Linda. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hi, Laura. Hi, Libra lady.
Hi, Laura.
Good evening, everybody. It's
Libra
absolutely
lady. I love that
beautiful
name.
out here tonight. So let us know how the video is and how the audio is. Hi, Jilly. Hey, Ray. How are you? Hello, Vermont.
Vermont. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Folks are from all over.
Wow.
Rose, how are you?
Rose.
There you go.
Love it.
Jamie, how are you? So this is Linda's first first dive into live chat.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how this goes. Hey, Judy. Rose, how are you? Good to see you. Awesome. Everyone's wearing blue tonight.
Love blue. Blue's the color. Blue stands for strength.
Oh, hey, there's Joanne. There's one of our questions
There you
right
go.
there. Hi, Laura. The moderator, yeah, Annalie, she lives down in Virginia.
Oh, I was born in Virginia.
Yep. Were you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know.
So I guess we can kind of start with the pleasantries, right? So one is great having you here. And I was telling folks when you first reached out to me, and as soon as we started our conversation on Zoom, I was like, oh, I already know this is going to work well on our channel because we have an awesome community here.
Yeah.
And I think they're really going to love listening to you and learning from you and seeing what you're all about. So I'm really excited to share your gifts with everybody tonight too. Hi, Maura. How are you? Earth Angel, good to see you. Yeah, we're all excited today. This is great. Oh, Annalie was born in Richmond.
Oh, my. Wow. I was born in Parisburg. It's not something everybody's heard of. Have you heard of Parisburg? It's not Harrisburg. It's Parisburg.
Paris? Is that what you would call it back growing up? Paris? Is that like
not exactly Paris, let me tell you. But it was, oops, it's kind of rural, but it's cute.
Yeah. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing tonight? We're here with Linda for the first time.
I know.
Live.
I'm excited. I love meeting new people.
Yeah.
Talking to people, tell them what I do, and giving them a clue as to what's happening. It's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Annalie has been to Parisburg.
Where? Get out. Where?
Yeah, she has.
Oh my.
She's at least heard of it.
Oh, wow. Recently, or like an elastic on my hand? Recently?
So I should let you folks know that it's 6:30 Eastern time here where we're at in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And sunset is going to be about an hour or so. So we're starting to chase daylight, but I have a light affixed behind the computer here too to keep us going for a bit tonight. But we do have a bunch of questions that folks have asked in the last week or so. Lynn and I we're actually going to do this a week or two ago until my COVID spell. And now that I'm finally over that, we're going to get together and go through some of these questions. But I thought first and foremost, Linda, we would just kind of go over like basically who you are and what you do. So for the folks who don't know, I guess a bit about your background and then your change work.
Okay. So this has been my passion for pretty much my whole life, ever since I was 10 years old. And I read the words, know thyself. And actually, you're not going to believe this, but just this week, I found the answer. And I think nothing's ever definitive and it stops right there, but it could still change. But this is the closest I've come. And it was in a Rupert Spira, his latest book. And I said, oh my goodness, this is the closest I'm going to come to know. It was know thyself. Because it's only 2 words, but he said, know thyself. He didn't say analyze your personhood. He could have said a lot of things. He said, know thyself. Which self? The ego, the super ego? I don't know. You know, I've been looking at this, looking at it, and I finally found the answer. And the answer actually is, realized I didn't give you the answer, and this is my opinion, know of your being. Know your being. That's it. Know your being. And we can get into that maybe later. It's not that important that if people don't know what I'm talking about, some people know exactly what I'm talking about.
So
Aristotle said this. So Rupert Spira is a non-dualist teacher, and he came out with a great book. You are the happiness that you seek. And he
SPIRA.
Yeah. He explains consciousness and being and awareness in a way that people who are just starting to get on this journey can understand it. So it's just so simple, and he explains it. And so he wrote the book in a structure like it's questions and then he answers them. So it's like one long conversation. And all the questions I would have asked, because I ask a lot of, I was on the loose.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of questions, and they asked all the questions I would have asked. So, I mean, I read this thing like I was sipping a cup of coffee. It was just going. I was like, this book is beautiful. I loved it. So I had started my journey there. And then I said, you know, I wanted to know what makes us tick as human beings. This was like, I wanted to know how the mind worked. Well, how do you use it in life? Because I was very lost as a kid. I didn't know what was happening. I thought everybody knew about life, and I didn't get it. You know, I didn't know. And so I was a very confused teenager, and I had a lot of issues. And anyway, I had to go into therapy and all that fun stuff. Anyway, I got my brains together, and then I, you know, set out to see the world and do what I could do. So it's been a long journey, and I discovered some things along the way. I hit a stop when I turned 60, believe it or not. And that was the big moment when I said, okay, not really living the life I wanted to live. What's going on? I questioned that. I discovered more about how the mind works. I discovered hypnosis. I saw it online. And I'm like, what the heck is this stuff? This is fascinating and so powerful. And it can help people in a short amount of time. This is what was mind-blowing to me. So I called up the guy. I went down there to Tennessee, studied with him. It was the first of many classes and webinars and people that I studied with that I took, and just learned how to do it. And it was absolutely, I've been my passion ever since.
Yeah.
And it's answered a lot of questions, and it helps people very, very quickly. And it's kind of like hypnotherapy is really an idea whose time has come. A lot of people are still like confused about what it is. And it's not what you think it is. It's
even the word itself conjures up, your eyes are getting sleepy. Here's the watch dangling back and forth. And it's
no, it's not that. You know, it was at first, and it is a focused attention. So, I mean, you could use the watch if you want, you know, usually I say, you know, look up at a spot of the ceiling, or just close your eyes and go inward. There's many, many ways to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And it's just basically all it is. It's a focused attention, bypassing what they call the critical faculty, or that critical part of your mind that is like not letting stuff in. You know, at 7 or 8, you develop this critical faculty that said, okay, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, I don't know. Don't think so. And that's the part that you have to get beyond, you know? So so hypnosis, what it does is it focuses your attention to induce a trance. And I'm going to explain a little more what trance is later. Trance, again, it's a narrowing, focused of attention. And when the brain does that, it blocks everything else out. And now if you come with an initial problem, you're focused on that, but you can't solve the problem yourself because you're so focused you're in this mind loop, and you can't see any other solutions. And the unconscious mind, so it automates things because it has millions and millions of processes to take care of in a moment. Try to figure out, keep you safe. Try to figure out, what do I do? Do I, you know, run from the target? Do I, you know, eat the target? Do I freeze? Do I play dead? What? It's out there to keep you safe. And so it has a lot of things to do. So it's looking for a shortcut. So it's telling you, okay, you know what? Run.
right.
You know, you did this about, 50 times already this week. Run. Okay. So it automates it. So every time you see a target, you're running. Just picture that with bad habits in your life, or before you were 7 or 8, you took in a lot of suggestions from your caregivers because everything got in there like a child. You absorbed these things like a sponge.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of negative stuff,
Mhm.
not so good stuff. So we carry this stuff up until our adulthood. And so this is what you get to do. You go back to go inside, focus. What's the problem? Okay. And then you just work with that. So I use conversational hypnosis. I kind of graduated to that. Because then you didn't have to do a lot of these techniques and remember how to do them. This, it's a lot of stuff to remember.
Yeah, right.
So I use conversational hypnosis a lot. And that's just basically asking questions, and you're very deliberate in the questions you ask. You're watching the person. The unconscious mind is actually giving you clues. It's giving you clues because every move you make, your unconscious, oh my goodness, your unconscious mind. Yeah, look right into my eyes. There you go.
That's the weird thing with Bub. He looks into people's eyes. He looks into camera lenses.
Yeah, there you go. We can hypnotize you. Would you like to sit? Would you like to sit? You can sit right down if you like.
Hey, Mare.
Anyway, so
yeah, wrong show, Bubba.
Anyway, so what was I saying? So anyway, so I learned a lot of things beyond the traditional hypnosis, and then I moved on to the nature of mind, consciousness, and thought, and that really blew the whole thing apart. And then I moved on to provocative hypnosis from a guy in Norway, Jørgen Rasmussen, whoever you say his last name.
Mhm.
And again, that every time I learn something new, it takes me to a new level and a new way of working. So, and each time it gets like, I have to do less. So I like that part, but the less is really more. It just expands the client out. It's a little like somebody said, if Jesus came to you and he had amnesia, would you get him to, do his carpentry skills and leave it at that? I don't think so. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. It's beyond just the skills you have. Let's expand this out to you and what you can do for yourself and the world. I think that's a bigger.
That's cool. We've gotten some cool comments. So I say hi to Tammy, and so Jilly says, God, that's so what I need because my mind is so scattered these days and all over the place. Earth Angel says her mind is scattered too. She's got to pray just to find shoes, keys. So yeah, it's cool. So you're definitely striking a chord here.
Yes.
Yeah, and then of course Bubba had to make his big appearance.
Yeah. Oh, Bubba, he's awesome.
Yeah. So what do you want to get into some of the questions people have asked already?
Yeah, because it looks like some of them. Oh my goodness, I get slobber all over me. I love it though.
Oh, do you need a
no, I'm
something?
Good. Nah.
Bubby's staring at us through the
I know he wants out
now. He always does.
Yeah. Now let's start with the questions. And that way, I thought, we have questions, so I can intertwine the learnings and things I want to talk about as I answer the questions. That might be an easy way to go.
Okay, so one question
before we start.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Let's remember to say that do not listen to this while you're driving.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to be hypnotizing anybody because I just want to be safe, but I want to do this, online. But, I might say something in kind of a hypnotic way. If I get into the hero's journey, which I'd love to tell you that hypnotically, the hero's journey, it's an awesome story. You might be your focused attention. You're so listening to what I'm saying. I learned it the hard way. I was driving one day and I was listening to one of my teachers in this tape. And I realized I didn't know where the hell I was. I was lost and I'd never been down this road. I said, how did I get here? So I said, okay, lesson learned. I can't be doing this. I had to turn around, find my way back and go to work. And I said, I can't be listening to this because you're so engrossed in what the person's saying. And they change their tone and they talk to you very, very slowly. And all of a sudden, you're focused in on this and you're not paying attention. It's not safe. So don't be listening to this while you're driving.
Yeah, that's our disclaimer.
Yes, you can listen to it later.
Yeah, pull over or just put the car in park wherever you are right now. If you're traveling and listening to this, so that's cool. So okay, so we usually get the same. I've noticed the same 2 types of questions right off the bat from people who, are looking at hypnotherapy from a distance. And one is, it's always, how do I quit smoking? How do I lose weight? We can sort of touch upon that question. Tammy S just said she's tried to go under and can't. So those 2 seem to be 2 very popular themes that keep popping up in questions. So do you want to address that off the top?
Sure.
So how about, let's get to this one from Tammy. Just, some people can go under and some people can't. What's up with that?
So the can go under is kind of an old school kind of terminology, even though it seems like you're going under, but that gives the connotation like you're going under a spell or you're going under the control of the hypnotist. Yeah. I mean, in stage hypnosis, it kind of looks that way, but trust me, the guy who's up on the stage has already primed the audience for hypnosis. He knows the people who go to these shows want to be hypnotized. He's picked 30 people to start, and he's narrowed it down by his speaking and saying and watching the people who is subject and easier to go into hypnosis. And then he gets rid of half of them, and then this is his subject. So there is an art to this. Okay. So there's a deliberate way that you want to deal with people. So yeah, they say that, I don't know, it's 20% of people very difficult to hypnotize. I think there's a small percentage, but I think, if you have an unconscious mind, I find it hard to believe that you can't be hypnotized. Now, am I saying it's going to be easy? It might have to take a long time, but the other point is, that's why I have other things to do besides hypnosis. So I can use conversational hypnosis, because what happens is, for the people, I think the hard to hypnotize people, they're not easily absorbed in thought. They're more like the analytical thinkers. They're more left brain people. So they're always thinking. So they're not allowing themselves to just let go and, be hypnotized or follow instructions like that. I had one woman who, I was in a group, and I do the eye lock. I think I did that with you. Did I do the eye lock? Yeah. No eye lock. No, that wasn't happening with her. And so I said to her, that's actually a fantastic trait to have. You're sitting with somebody, and this person is asking you to do something, and you don't want to do it. And you didn't. Keep that trait. Okay. Now, for our purposes, can you pretend that, your eye's going to close? Because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between whether you're pretending or you actually are. It sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So she just was protecting herself. She didn't want to close her eyes and do hypnosis, and that's okay. It can work however it works. But I was just trying to make a point, not to hypnotize her, but I was making a point about the absorption of the mind. That's all we were using the exercise for. So it wasn't like she was going to go, in this deep trance and have things happen. But,
gotcha.
Like I said.
And Tammy says she's very analytical. Haha. As well.
Well, there you go. I have an analytical friend, so I get to practice on her a lot. She's always saying, how we are? I says, yeah, I know how you are. And so there's ways. Yeah. You give them a task. They like tasking things, and then they can focus on that before you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, her hand levitated, so she was totally shocked.
Really?
So was I, but and this was a left brain analytical person. So you see, you never know. But was there another question in there, or?
Well, we can sort of glom this into, I think, some of these other questions that have been asked.
Okay.
So let's start off with Eileen's question off the top. Okay. So Eileen had asked us the other night. So Linda, does hypnotherapy help with someone who feels like an imposter at work? So imposter syndrome, which I hadn't heard of before.
Yeah. Oh, I've had that.
Really?
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's fun. Once you get over it. Now, is Eileen here?
I don't know is Eileen in the chat yet? She won't, but she can go back and see this. Yeah, I don't think Eileen's here yet.
Okay.
Why do you have follow-up questions for her? Because they can come back.
Yeah, I was going to interact with her. So
okay.
Just to do a fun thing. So let's wait on that.
Okay, so Jilly Beans is here and in the chat with us. And she says, she asked, Has Linda worked with people who are recovering from an unexpected illness?
Mm.
How do I work with the fatigue from being sick back in March, since every day is different?
Okay. So first thing I want to say about that is another disclaimer. So I cannot prescribe.
Right. So we say for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
That's our
Can't
that's our
prescribe, diagnose, or say that I cure. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I can do things. I can work with pain and I can make you comfortable. If your unconscious mind wants to get rid of the pain totally, that is up to your unconscious mind. I'm not going to get rid of pain totally because pain is trying to tell you something. You got a problem somewhere. So I don't want to get rid of it. Say you have back pain and we reduce the back pain, say from an 8 down to a 1, and then you go out and do a cartwheel. I mean, it's like, holy schmoly, just because you were feeling so good. Whoa, no. We don't want to do that. So so I always ask the person, how far down in the comfort zone do you want to feel comfortable? That's all. Just help them make you feel comfortable. Now, whatever your unconscious mind wants to do, that's up to you, but it's not on me, So, but you can work with pain. But okay, answer your question. So I would ask, I'd have to ask a lot of questions. Have you been to a doctor recently? Have you talked to about this fatigue? These things can come from a lot of places. Now, I personally have just and in recovery from a serious illness because I had breast cancer, and that was only 4 months ago. So I firsthand experienced this because I was tired as hell, recuperating from that surgery, which was knocked me out. I'm not a person that usually lies around in bed and does nothing, but it was like, whoa. So I ended up, so like I said, this is what I did. I cannot tell you what to do or, but I would say, I don't know what you've investigated. What I did was I listened to the doctors that I had surgery, so they cut the cancer out and they cleared all the margins, and that's cool. And they wanted me to do radiation chemotherapy. I didn't have to do chemotherapy. They wanted me to do the radiation. I personally chose not to do the radiation. I'm not even suggesting that anybody do that. Everybody's different. So you have to decide for yourself. I came to that conclusion. I just, sort of sat with it, looked at the pros and cons, talked to everybody, and decided that I wasn't going to go that route. Granted, my cancer was not in stage 4 or anything like that. It was only like stage 1. So, but still, according to them, it can come back. And let's see. So, okay, it can this and it can that. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't. They don't. I decided not to go with it.
Mhm.
So what am I going to do instead? Now, I have to recoup from this. I have to get my body back together. So I sought out a naturopath, Dr. Dan in Newburyport. He's awesome. And he's got me on all kinds of Chinese herbs. In fact, I got the tea right here. I have to drink it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Not inexpensive, I have to say, but the cost of, the hospital bills and all that. Hey, what are you going to do? So I see him. I have never felt better in my life, to tell you the truth. So I said to him,
You look great.
well, I said to him, well, thank you. I said to him the last time, okay, I feel so good. Is this really happening? You think because you're feeling so great, well, maybe you're good. Maybe, I don't know, but I feel great. The energy is completely back. More energy than I've ever had before. I have to lose weight. So I'm on that track. That's been a pain in the butt, but I did that right away. When you have cancer, your whole life really changes. You are focused on living, doing the right thing, doing what you want to do for yourself, getting answers. I read all these books. I read a lot of what really helped me was reading books about people who went into spontaneous remission. That's a huge deal out there. People who had stage 4 cancer. You read about some of these things people have went through. And then they go back and tell the doctor the cancer's gone. The doctors are just stupefied. They don't even know what to say. Some of them don't even ask how. It's a huge difference between, Eastern, Western medicine and all. It's just, so there's a lot out there. So you really have to do your own investigating.
Yeah.
So I would have to talk to you,
Well, so Jilly has been answering us along the way here. Okay. So it's not so much pain, but I was seriously sick in March and fatigue and getting my life back in order. She was told a year for recovery. She has no shame. So she had become septic from a fungal and two bacteria affecting her bloodstream and almost died.
Ah,
So
yeah. So one of the things I just did recently was, 'cause after researching all of this, definitely believe in the mind body healing. That is, that's it. And so there's so many ways that you could go. And so I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, the body in that way. But I went to the Western Doctor. I went to have the surgery. I've gone to the naturopath. He's on what to give me. He's on that part of it. And so I said, okay, I want to deal with the emotional component of this, because in all my reading and seeing, what causes cancer, well, there's an emotional component to cancer. There's it could be trauma in early life. There could be anger, resentment. I'm a caretaker. I took care of my father 5 years and my husband for 6 years. So that was 11 years of taking care of them. So you do what you have to do, but it does take a toll, And so I went to see my teacher, a hypnotherapist, change worker, and we worked on that emotional component. And it was very, very interesting. I didn't even know myself what he was going to do. And basically what it came down was for me is that I got down to some core issues, and then I freed that up so that now my immune system can do its job. Otherwise, I was tripping off the fight, flight, freeze response, which blocks your immune system. So you don't want to do that. So the energy, if it's blocked, especially if you had a trauma when you're younger and you've forgotten about it, or like I said, he asked me a lot of questions about when I thought it started and that kind of thing. And they have traced this back. They've done studies to show that the cancer, they can kind of pinpoint maybe the year when the cancer started. And they'll say, well, what was going on then? And they ask a lot of questions like that. And that's how we kind of unearth the direction to go in. And I really got an answer for myself, which was just, when you get these changes, you feel a shift inside. And I felt we had really got to the root of it. And pretty much for me, honestly, it was about being a caregiver. And now that the caregiving was over, I needed to create a cancer so that I'd have something to care about. It's like, okay, oops, I don't think so. We're not going there. And that just resonated with me. And I'm like, yeah, no. So now I'm back to freedom from that whole, spiraling, fearful, you're worried, is it coming back? And I was, it's always on the back of your mind. And no, I don't go there anymore, because that in of itself, when you start to think like that, that is going to create that fight or flight response, which now releases all the cortisol and the stress hormones. And that's what you don't want in your body. So that's kind of like the short version of my journey. But
it's interesting because we sort of heard a similar thing from the author Susan Wadia Els.
Yes.
About the author of Busting Breast Cancer.
Yes.
Who played that similar tune. We had her on last month.
I read her book. I met her last year. She lives near here, so we're friends. And I read her book, and I read it. I kind of glanced through it. I wanted to support her. I bought the book. Well, then after I got breast cancer, I sat down. Where's that book now?
Yeah.
And I read the book twice, lot of food for thought in there.
Yeah.
A lot of food for thought. And you be prepared. The doctors are not going to really want to hear what you're talking about. And they don't really know the metabolic, processes and all this for cancer. They don't really want to know about that. They have their own procedure. You get into that world. That's the world you're going to be in. And so you really have to be strong enough to listen to what they have to say and make up your own mind, because they're not going to support that at all.
Right.
They're not. In fact, it was just the opposite. They just said, oh my God, I've heard so many stories. You've seen all this stuff on the internet. Don't go there, like, okay, I'm going to make up my own mind, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but I didn't want to be really, really sick. I had to recoup from that surgery. I just decided, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to believe that, I can be healed. My mind and body can heal itself with the help of, Chinese herbs and all the stuff that Dr. Dan's on it. He's totally into it. So that's the route I chose for myself. I'm not saying it's the best route for everybody. Some people have radiation, chemo. I mean, they done wonders out there.
Right.
Just wasn't for me, but
Gotcha.
yeah. And Susan's book has a lot of information in there about the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does. So if you're just tuning in, folks, hi, I'm Corey here at Bridge Cape, and she is Linda Szabo, and she is a hypnotherapist slash change worker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do a lot. Like this is, we're starting to just touch the tip of the iceberg here on just how the breadth and depth of Linda's work here too. So you can learn more about her at Brush with Life Hypnosis. Linda and I met last month, and we did a quick little Zoom introductory thing. We're sort of recreating that, I guess, in a sense tonight.
Yep.
This is our first live chat side by
Yeah.
side here at the deck at Bridge headquarters. And so we're super excited. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a little getting used to. I'm trying to, where am I supposed to be looking and all this, but you know, I hope I didn't start it off with a downer. I mean,
no, hey, look, we
talking about all that, but
dived right into it.
yeah, I know. But I honestly, I just you have to believe in yourself and the power of your mind to heal. That's a huge message, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you want to jump to a particular question next?
Give me the next one.
So we have had similar questions like this too. So Bon Blue has asked, I could use some help dealing with my lifelong addiction to sugar. Could Linda help me with that? So we get a lot of things like, how can I quit smoking? How can I quit this? How can I quit that? So how do you help?
Well, I mean, lifelong, you know, so when I'm going to work with somebody, I ask them a lot of questions. I want to know, what's the lifelong? Since you're a little kid, probably, because sugar is everywhere. Sugar, gives you that, that dopamine release. You have that sugar and your body is now craving that. So it's definitely a problem. I've cut out all sugar. To me, sugar is poison. No question about it. It's like smoking. You're smoking a poison stick. Sugar is poison, especially if you have cancer. So I use monk fruit, fine sugar substitutes, but there's things you can do, as far as weaning off of it, or if you just want to cut it out, because of health reasons. I'm not sure what the situation is, but I mean, it's an addiction, a bad habit. I don't know, but yeah, definitely ways to help with that, with sugar. Yeah. One way is just to get some substitutes and start weaning off it, but it's that, like any addictions.
This is what I wanted to get into.
Yeah. There's,
excuse me.
It's because the mind automates things. Okay. And because you're escaping into this addiction, you're getting something from it other than just, oh, isn't this fun? No, it's almost like you're drawn to it. There's an urge there, a yearning that you just can't, you got to have it. I mean, it's like life and death. It feels like life and death in that moment. I got to have this or I'm not going to be any peace, and that's what happens when the mind automates it after a while. And now the mind is the craving. It's just about the mind getting its fix. It's really nothing to do with you being a bad person or, did you have some problems in your childhood that no, the automated mind now has started the ball rolling. Now you've got to break that loop. But just like cigarettes and all these other habits, just like I see somebody at weight loss and all that, sometimes you'll go for there's secondary gain. It's like, okay, there's a secondary gain from why you're doing this. It's not the initial reason. Maybe you want to gain weight because you're afraid that, maybe something happened. Maybe you was traumatized in your childhood and you don't want men to get near you. I don't know. There's a lot of different underlying reasons for why you pick the poison you pick.
Right.
So many times it's not even somebody will come in for smoking. That's not even what we're going to be talking about. We get to it really quickly and then we deal with that issue. So a lot of times these are just cover-ups, but the bigger picture for addiction is you are trying to escape the moment. This moment right here, the only moment we have as human beings. We only have the here and the now. And so you mistakenly think, okay, I need something, I need my fix. Okay. So you go for whatever it is, whatever your particular poison is. And that helps you for a little bit. And you think, oh, I had my sugar fix. I had my cigarette, I had whatever I had. And you think that's it. Well, it wasn't. It was just what happened was your compulsion stopped. That yearning stopped for a few moments because you satisfied it. Now it's going to come back again because it's in the automatic loop. It just only lasts for a little bit. So it's how you do that. That's usually what I talk to people. We talk about the what or the wherefore, but it's how do you do this? What's going on in that moment? Okay. So this is, let's get into it. This is a trance. Okay. So say you've got the sugar trance, you've got the smoking trance, you know. Now, the first time I was on, I talked about trance being like when you go to a movie, you know, that's a fun trance. You know, you go to the movie and so entranced in the story, you're totally absorbed in what they're doing. You forgot you're even in a room full of people, and, you know, you almost forget you have the popcorn on, and you laugh almost. And so, you know, you're entranced in this movie, and then the movie's over, and then, okay, you go home. You know, say you were watching, I don't know, maybe Batman or something, you know, and maybe he's wounded and they're going to have a series 2 or something, you know what I mean? And like, you're thinking to yourself, all right, how am I going to help Batman? You know, he's wounded. I mean, this can't be. Well, there is no wounded Batman. You just got so absorbed in the story that you forgot that it's not real. Okay. So that's what happens when you're trying to escape the moment from whatever it is you're trying to escape. You may or may not know what that is, but you're trying to escape. Well, all you have to do is realize that you're in a trance. Okay. And a trance by definition. So a movie trance is fun. You can get over that quick and you go to dinner. But there's a lot of different trances. Okay. And so we don't call them trances because we just haven't known enough to call them trances. But say, for example, one I used to have a lot was the confusion trance. You know, you get confused easily, you know, or if somebody asked me a question and put me on the spot, oh my God, I would be like, okay, I don't know what to do. I would always be flustered, you know. Now there's sensory distortion trances where that's about pain in your body. Okay. Or sometimes you have numbness. Like I said before, everything your body does, your unconscious mind is behind it. It's doing this for some reason, whatever it is, we don't know, but you know, it's doing, it controls your blinking of your eyes, the circulation of your blood, the beating of your heart, everything. So every movement, you know, every twitch in your face, it's
involuntary.
Yes. So things show up, the energy gets blocked, it's in your body. Negative hallucinations, can't find the keys. I think somebody was saying that before. Now, I'll just read the list of the other: positive hallucination, hypnotic dreaming, disassociation is a big one. All of these things we do. We don't call them trances though. We kind of think it's part of normal life. Age regression is a big one. Well, that's an easy one. When you listen to a song, all of a sudden you're back, you know, in junior high school.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, you're just back there. It's age regression. Time distortion. This is a big one I used to have. You're like, oh my God, there's never enough time in the day. There's not enough time. I have so much to do today. Oh my God, I'm never going to get it done. You know, or sometimes I used to wake up in the morning and say, oh my God, today's going to be one of those days. I'm always behind the 8 ball. You know, that's a time distortion trance. Okay. Now we haven't called them trances, but why we call them trances? Because they were coping mechanisms that began in childhood when you couldn't deal with the moment, whether it be a trauma or just your parent was asking you to do something and you were confused. Maybe they asked you to do something when you were 3 that was something you could only do when you were 5. Well, you're a little confused, you know, but you don't want to tell them. You want to act like you know what you're doing, you know. Whatever it is, these mechanisms start back then and they continue on through your adulthood because back then they helped you cope in the moment. And now you're continuing it in your adulthood. So I happen to have, you know, because I look at this stuff, I'm like, okay, when a trance comes up, I just go, okay, wake up, Linda, wake up, and I'm good. Now, maybe a lot of people, you know, have to practice that a little bit. Or I say, hey, this is a confusion trance, you know, this is my time distortion trance. This is my imposter syndrome trance. I love that one. I laugh at that one when it comes up. We'll talk about when Eileen comes on. We'll talk about that. But all of these things are actually going on in your mind, your thought process, but also out of your awareness in the unconscious mind. Those are the more insidious ones that you got to get to. But these trances are going on continually. So once you start to spot them, then you can just snap out of it and make a clear decision about what you want to do. So we just haven't called them trances, but they're trances because the reason is I pick up this drink, right? If I can't put this drink down, I don't have the drink. The drink has me. If you can't stop that moment, then it's got you. That's how you know, oh, this is something that, and you watch, yeah, this comes up a lot. That's when you know it's a trance. When you can't have a choice about it in the moment really quickly, you can't shake it off. You can't get rid of it. That's a trance. And now it's almost like being in the riptide. You're in the grip of it.
So it's funny how this happens. This happens with Annette too, where you start to answer a question, and then it turns out you're actually answering another 2 or 3 questions that we've gone for people. Well, because as you were discussing coping mechanisms, and
right,
you're told to do something when you're 3 that you aren't prepared to do it for 5 till you're 5, or you just want to kick the can down the road and you're procrastinating. We got a lot of questions about procrastination. Is that another coping mechanism? And is that another form of a trance?
Yes. I mean, there's all kinds of things about procrastination. It's
because would that tie in with time distortion as well, where you're saying I don't have enough hours in the day, or you're not prioritizing your things?
They actually cluster together and come bundled. So if you look at your particular procrastination, I mean, what do? Are you thinking about the last time you had this project, you didn't work on it? Well, that's time distortion. You've gone back in the past. Are you thinking about, oh God, if I don't do this by the deadline, now you're going into the future. Okay. That's time disorientation into the future. Okay. Also thinking about it in the past, it's age regression. You might be thinking about the last time or how long you've had this. So yeah, they can all be bundled down together. Now, the other interesting thing about procrastination is, and there could be an underlying, what's the underlying factor? But I always go for, how do you do this? How do you do procrastination? Do you sit and look at your project and it's like, scratch your head and have a headache? I mean, or do you just put it out of your mind? Don't think about it, disassociate from the whole thing. Some people actually wait till the last minute. That works for them. That doesn't really work for me anymore. I used to do that as a kid, but that doesn't work for me. It's too much anxiety. But procrastination also is a concept. It's like it's a normalization. It's like you can't put it in a wheelbarrow. That's the definition, the NLP definition for, something that's not, we're making a noun out of something you do. You're procrastinating, but we call it like I've got procrastination. Well, you don't really. I mean, where is it? It's more like, how do you do it? It's not like, I'm a procrastinator. No, you're not.
Right.
You're having this procrastinating kind of behavior. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of this because what I have done is I live by lists. So here are the things I have to get done today. Like these are things I have to get done. Then there's other things that need to get done at some point or whatever. But what I try to do when I try to cope with my...
Okay, so let me pause you right there.
Yeah.
That word try, lose that.
That does the same thing to me.
Lose that from your vocabulary.
Okay.
Trying assumes failure. You're going to try, and that's why you haven't finished it. You're going to try and try and try again. You know that old saying? It's so true. Don't try.
So what I do,
yes.
So I usually put the task that I know is the one that I want to do the least, or maybe the most arduous. I prioritize that, knowing that if I get that out of my way, the rest of the day flies by. But it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, let's get into this thing now. Or
so your task is, it's in your way.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't really want to do this. this is kind of the pain in the ass thing, but I have to do it, but I also been told too.
So somebody's holding a gun to your head. I mean, you have to do it.
Well, it's something that needs to be done. It's something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Right. So I either I have to do it and get it over with, or find someone else to do it.
Well, there you go.
For me to free time up for me to do
there's your
other
solution
things.
right there.
Right. It's just it's hard to follow through sometimes, It's hard.
Yeah.
I can show you I might even have lists on my clipboard here. I always have the list. It's like this thing's been there for 4 days.
Wow. 4 whole days.
Well, it's just like, you gotta go visit that person, or do I have to go do this thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could go a couple of ways with that. It's like, I could talk to you about how the fact that it's just an idea in your head, it's a concept. Procrastination.
So I think you did tell me this a couple weeks ago. And I know.
Yes,
but
I understand. It's just you're thinking. So, I go into, well, how does that make you feel? And then I would follow that energy into your body. And then we'd get into what's really going on.
Yeah.
Or I have another way that I could go. I could use provocative hypnosis, which is really, really fun. And I could just really play with your mind so that you'd be like,
wonderful.
What are we talking about? And that breaks up this loop in the oddest. I mean, it's odd to me how this stuff works, but, I would say that, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, now you always have something to do, and life could be extremely interesting because you're just a man of action, and you just keep on having lists, and you're just, you're living life, living large. You have, getting lots of things accomplished. What's the problem with that?
There are just some things that you have to do that you don't really want to do.
Oh, that sounds like a song. There's some things you have to do.
So you can't always get what you want.
You can't always get. Yeah. You're right. And so I would take everything you're telling me. This is provocative hypnosis. I'm giving you a little clue into this. It's very interesting stuff. But I can't get down the whole road. But I would take that. Okay, you can't always get what you want. Okay. Has this been a problem for a long time in your whole life, or have you just cultivated this recently?
No, it's since I've with my business.
I mean, you can't always get what you want. You always want to get what you want.
It's
or you can't get that when you want it.
Well, a part of it is I don't know how to get there.
Oh, you don't know how to get there.
I don't think I do.
Oh.
But maybe it is.
Yeah.
Knocking that shit off the list that I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can't explain it to me, how am I going to help you? I mean, you don't know, you don't know, or you do know which.
Well, I look at my list. Yeah. It's like, that's the thing that's weighing on me the most. It's the most time consuming.
Yeah.
Let me do all these other little things instead and say, oh, well, I got these 4, 5, 6 little other things done.
Now,
not.
How much is it weighing on you? Is it weighing on you like 10% of your,
no,
brain power,
it can
40%?
It can sap my energy because it's just, it's there. It's there.
Well, what percentage? Like 10%, 40, or 80%?
No, I mean, I would say like a quarter is like, because I have other stuff to occupy me, but it's like, well, this still is the thing. If I got that out of the way, the other 5, 6 things would have just fallen into place anyway. So
fallen into place. They wouldn't have jumped into place. They would just fall into place.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, what's so funny about that?
I don't know. I never know if I'm just trying to figure out how you're trying to figure me
this out. I'm not trying to figure you out. I'm just listening to what you're telling me. You said they fall into place.
Well,
what if they jumped into place?
So one thing I try to when I
like
prioritize my list,
Mexican jumping beans. Yeah. Have you ever played with those as a kid? Those
no,
son of a
you
guns.
could.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Did you guys have Mexican jumping?
I mean, I've always seen them in cartoons and stuff. I didn't know you could actually get them and play with them.
Oh, absolutely. Has anybody played with Mexican jumping beans? I know we did.
That's our poll question.
Anyway, I will just stop here. But this is the crazy. So believe it or not, this is therapy. Okay. I am playing with his mind. He doesn't even know what's going on. Okay. And he's going to start to wonder. He's going to start to wonder about me in a few minutes. But that's the point. And then you just keep on going. And then all of a sudden, the person has this breakthrough like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. And then you're like, oh, what's that going to be? And then they're like, wow, how did we get here? It's amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it takes a while. So let's go on to the next question.
Sure. We had a ton of people following up on the procrastination thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
Yeah, everybody does
procrastinating
that.
some way or another. So yeah, cool stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So how about, so we did sort of answer addictions and procrastination question. I want to mention that Tony Stokes asked that question as well, which was great. How about this one from Joanne Sines? Because I think Joe's in the room with us tonight too. When I got hypnotized,
Yeah.
I really didn't think that it could be done due to past trauma, but I did, and I remembered everything. So when she went to quit cigarettes, the hypnotist said, "You smoke for a reason."
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like you've sort of been touching upon these subjects people are asking, you know?
Well, I'm wondering, I had a couple questions about that. So did you get hypnotized? Is Joey in here?
Joe, are you in yet? I thought I saw her name in here earlier.
I can read that fast.
Well, yeah, I know the
I
handles.
sit next to Superman.
So wait, maybe Joe isn't in it with us yet. That's okay.
Okay.
She'll watch.
So yeah, I had a couple of questions about that. I didn't know if did she get back to the trauma? I mean, there's many ways to do trauma. You know, said she remembered everything. Does that mean she remembered everything in the trauma? And then did she quit smoking? So I was just trying to figure out, I was kind of confused by the question. So, but I was just go back to that procrastination thing for a second.
Yeah,
just
sure.
Because there's a lot of questions on that. So just try this the next time you're procrastinating. Just say to yourself, is this happening now? Is this problem happening right now in this moment? If you want to say this, so then you say in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. Okay, just really tune into being present, because these things are in our thought process, okay, which is taken from the past. Okay, that's where the trances come from too. Everything that is in our thought process comes from the regurgitated mind, the archive, and everybody's got a different filter and a different experience. But it's taking you away from the present moment, where you can either choose to do this thing or not do it. But you're not free to do that. You're stopped by this feeling that's stopping you, whether it's it's different for everybody. Whether it's a confusion or you just plain don't feel like doing it. You want to do something else that's fun. I don't know what it is that's stopping you, but it's a feeling. But it's coming from the thought that you shouldn't be thinking, that I shouldn't be procrastinating. Okay. Just say, hey, procrastination. What, you got to tell me, you got to be like Columbo. Let me ask you a personal question. What's the message? What are you trying to tell me? Just talk to it, get into it. It's your procrastination. So you think you gave this concept, it's come up. It's a concept in the mind. Okay. Just see if it wants to tell you something. And if it does, see what's there. Maybe you have a funny feeling in your stomach. I don't know. Okay. Hello, funny feeling in my stomach. Just get into it instead of saying, oh, I'm a procrastinator. What's the matter with me? I keep doing. No. Now you're judging yourself. Now you're resisting the whole idea. Do not resist anything that you think is negative. It's not really negative, because I learned so much from every moment, especially the ones that you think aren't working. It's something in there for you to get. So just be a detective and ask questions. Okay, procrastination. All right, you know what? I'm going to procrastinate even more in this moment. I'm not going to do one damn thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about them apples?
Well, I think it's cool because as you're talking, a couple of different scenarios pop into mind. Like,
yeah,
I know when I exercise, I feel better. Yeah. It's driving to the gym or going to the exercise, like, or, it's that, or I know if I go to class, I'm going to learn and feel better about it, but it's getting out of bed and going to the class. It's like making that,
right.
like that's it's like that's a common hang up. We've
If
clearly struck a
somebody,
chord.
okay, if somebody said, you just won the lottery, come down and get your money, you wouldn't be thinking about, let's see, which shoe should I wear? And I'm going to get dressed. And
I'll get it next time.
Yeah, get my coffee. And oh boy, it's going to be a long drive. Oh no, you probably forget your shoes. You'll be like, whoa, won $1 million. So what's the difference? I mean, you didn't think about all those little steps to get to the lottery, did you?
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, what changed? It was just your thinking. Here's Bubba trying to get out.
Yeah, but I was literally smacking the sliding door.
I know. It was just your thinking about it. So sometimes you just have way too much thinking about it. And those thoughts, they're like a log jam, like a log jam in the river. They're all stuck there now. What are you going to do? You got to poke it with one little log and get the thing, loose, and then boom, off they go. And then the water's clear. Now you just, okay, what am I going to do?
Neighbors are waving.
Oh, what am I going to do? So sometimes it's a matter of, I call it the TPMs, too many thoughts per minute. Too many thoughts in there about this. You're making it too big a friggin' deal over it. You know what I'm saying? But I think the best thing is they say lean into it, but just say, hey, procrastination.
Yeah.
You
remind me of that's what was that movie Cher was in when she smacks the guy upside the head and she's like, snap out of it.
Yes. Sometimes
I get that vibe from you a lot.
Well, I did that to me on my 60th birthday. It was a metaphorical snap out of it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Okay. Now what are we going to do? But I'll tell you. So I just had this recently. You're going to laugh because I'm supposed to be the therapist. And, therapists have the same stuff that you do.
Sure.
Our lives are not together. I don't care what, don't let anybody kid you. Well,
Moonstruck. That was the movie.
Moonstruck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because I've changed my diet and all that, it's, it was easy at first, but it's not easy when there's nothing much left to eat except vegetables, my particular, I can't have dairy, flour, sugar.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
That's drastic.
It is.
Would you adapt all right? Or?
Well, yeah, I just did it,
Yeah.
But now as it's going down a few months, I like to go to these cafes. There's so many places you can go around here. I've hit them all, the cafes in the morning and stuff, but some places have like a gluten-free, but I can't have it often. It's a big cheat. Well, all of a sudden I've got this thing about a blueberry muffin. And I'm like, okay, I'm obsessing about a blueberry muffin because I haven't been able to eat any of this. So now it's like the procrastination. Now it's in my mind all the time, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be the therapist and I can't stop thinking about this blueberry. I have an obsession about blueberry muffins. So I'm like, okay, what would I tell my clients? So I'm trying this and trying because I like to try all this stuff on myself. So what I got to was, I got it. It's not the blueberry muffin. The blueberry muffin is a metaphor, okay, for satisfaction. It's like when I smoked years and years ago. It was that I smoked because, that moment of rest, peace, just a couple moments. It's total illusion. So you're smoking a poison stick to give yourself rest. You get a permanent rest when the cancer hits in, but anyway. So I'm thinking, okay, the blueberry muffin thing. So, okay, I get down to it, but this is self-hypnosis. I'm thinking about what's going on. I'm diving deep and I'm getting, okay, I've rebelled my whole life. And if I want to have a blueberry muffin, I'm going to have a muffin, It's like, okay, I'm getting to it. Okay, I think I've had some satisfaction. So I'm reading this spiritual book and all that, and I'm getting some answers about the blueberry muffin. This is great. Yeah, I get it. It's just I thought in my head.
Damon, who is dying for a blueberry muffin right now.
Oh my God. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So, well, if it's unfortunately in the blueberry muffin, there's everything I cannot eat. There's sugar, there's butter, there's flour, there's milk. 4 things I cannot have. Okay. Now, people can eat what they want, but for me, that is not good right now. Maybe someday I'll be able to go back to that.
You have the blueberries and I'll have the muffin.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I love the blueberries. So anyway, now I'm working on this. I'm saying this is kooky because I'm working on with people with addiction stuff. And I got this thing about blueberry muffins, So why am I obsessing about this blueberry frickin' muffin? It's gotta go. So I got to it. All of a sudden it dawned on me. I woke up. I said, okay, I think I've got it now. It's just a thought. and let it go. It's escaping the moment, and it's illusion. You think at the rest is, you think you're going to have a little bit of peace, and it's in the muffin. It's not in the muffin, okay? Because the muffin is an object, okay? And the muffin just appears in your life. I didn't ask the blueberry muffin to come up in my brain. It comes up automatically. So I have no control over this muffin. I don't know why it even showed up, but my unconscious mind gave it to me for some reason. Like I said, everything's a lesson, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I'm not getting the muffins. I'm having my coffee, doing good. I woke up the other morning. There was the blueberry muffin on my mind again. I said, you son of a gun. What is going on with the muffin? I said, this is nuts, right? So all of a sudden it came to me. I said, wake up from the blueberry muffin trance. I didn't even analyze it anymore. See what's in it. Wake up from the blueberry muffin trance. And you know what I said? That yearning. I said, is that a problem right now in this moment? No. I was seeing a picture of a muffin. I was feeling from the thinking about the muffin. It was a feeling, but it wasn't a problem right now. I had no muffins. I couldn't eat it anyway. So I said to myself, is it a problem right now in the here, this moment? Nope. What about this moment? Nope. What about this moment? Nope. And that broke the spell. That broke the spell. Okay. I could feel the shift to my body. I got it. It's just a thought brought up by my unconscious, probably for me to get this lesson so I can help people with addictions even more, because it's a simple, stupid thing like a muffin. But for me, it's poison. I can't have the muffin.
I can tell you one thing, Linda.
Yeah.
First thing tomorrow morning, half of the people in this chat room are gonna die for a blueberry muffin.
Well, you know what my remedy for that is? So I go out to breakfast the next day.
Yeah.
And I order the friggin' muffin. Okay. I said, I'm going to have the muffin, see what happens. I ordered the eggs. Okay. I had 2 bites of the muffin and I didn't give a shit about it. I didn't eat it.
Yeah.
It was done. It was just gone. It's that pull. You think it sounds like it's life or death. I need this muffin. You don't really, but you feel like you need it. That's the spell you want to break. It's not real. It's an illusion. You know, all suffering is really caused from something that you want to have happen, but it's not. You think something should be happening and it's not. That's when we suffer. Psychological suffering is happening, no matter what is a muffin or if it's a cigarette or if that is the essence of psychological suffering. But if you stay in the absolute moment of the here and now, suffering can't happen in there. And that's what I remembered from the book. I remember reading that. I said, suffering can't happen in the moment. So I said, is the muffin in this moment? No. This moment? Nope. This moment? Nope. And that broke it.
Interesting. I'll tell you what, we definitely struck a chord tonight with this conversation.
Yeah, good.
That's awesome. So you're just tuning in. We're at the 1 hour mark now, Linda. Your first hour is already under your belt.
Holy smoke.
I told you it flies by, right?
This is fun. Okay.
So she is Linda Szabo. She is a hypnotherapist and a change worker. You can learn more about her work at brushwithlifehypnosis.com. Every now and then I'll drop that into the chat box here for us. So we're answering people's questions tonight. We have a bunch from a live session I did the other night that we're getting to. For what it's worth, Linda, more than half the audience tonight has played with Mexican jumping beans.
See?
So there is that. We're learning a lot tonight, right?
Awesome.
Cool stuff. All right, where do we want to go next, Linda?
I don't know. We got any more questions that we didn't answer?
Did we get into like this with Mary Sherman? As someone else asked earlier tonight about certain people who can't get hypnotized, right?
Yeah,
just to reiterate that.
Yeah, it is hard. Well, they say there's low hypnotizable people and high hypnotizable people.
Right. And then Mary asked, like, so is it the person or is it the hypnotist?
I don't know. I'd have to know that person and know who you saw and what they did. And maybe it wasn't that, maybe your unconscious didn't want you to get anything that day. I mean, it's powerful. If it doesn't want you to quit smoking, there's no hypnotist in the world that's going to make you quit smoking. I can tell you that right now. So it could have been you, it could have been, but I don't know. I'd have to meet with that person. And I'm always willing to keep going, try everything I can.
Yeah.
And like I said, what was the one? Oh yeah, the imposter thing. I might not even need hypnosis. Like I said, I think I don't know if I already said this, but I use it like salt and pepper hypnosis.
Yeah, so let me reiterate the question from Eileen earlier tonight. And I don't think Eileen's in here yet, but I know she will be. Does hypnotherapy help with someone who feels like an imposter at work or imposter syndrome? Right.
Like I said, I used to have that one. So she's not here yet?
I don't think so. Okay. But that's six. She'll watch this afterwards.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you a few questions. So basically I was going to say, do you ever have that imposter syndrome?
I didn't know what it was really.
Oh, it's like you feel like a fraud. You feel like, Jesus, I don't know. What if these people find out that I don't really know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's fun though.
You know,
I have fun with that.
Well, there you go. Me too now. But I used to have that for real. And I'm like, holy shit.
I can see how they can be debilitating.
Yeah, it is because.
All right, you answer. I'm going to put the light on and get the meatball out.
So what I was going to say to Eileen is, I was going to say, well, you feel like an imposter. Okay. I mean, are you? I would ask her, are you an imposter? I don't know what her answer would be. So if she said, no, but I feel like an imposter, I'd say, well, hey, Bubba, I say, are you an orange? And she'd say, well, no, not an orange, So then I'd say, well, okay, are you a child prodigy, violinist prodigy when you were 3 years old, started playing the violin? Well, no, not that. Okay. So then I'd say, well, okay, think of an animal. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? So I'm sure everybody's thinking of an animal. Maybe it was a cheetah. Okay. So I'd say, are you a cheetah?
And Eileen is in with us.
Oh,
Eileen, we're in the middle of answering your question right now.
Oh, let's go with where are you, Eileen? So follow me. I already did have. So I was asking some questions about the imposter syndrome. So are you an imposter?
Yeah, Eileen, if you have a chance, just let us know. She's just doing a hellos here.
Oh.
And hi to everybody tonight, by the way, as we are doing Linda's first side-by-side live, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So Eileen, I guess the question to you is, do you feel like you're an imposter?
No, it's not. Do you feel like, are you?
Are you? More direct.
Yes. Are you an imposter?
And so we should say, just to talk about your business a little bit too, Linda, right? Is how does it normally work? People find you online, and because obviously we have folks scattered all over the world watching here. And if someone wants to work with you, can they do that virtually?
Yeah, you can find me online, and then you can just write in there and have a question like, what do you want to talk about, and leave your email and your phone number. I like to call people. I'm just old school, but I can email you back, and you just set up a Zoom call first and talk about what you want to talk about and see if you're a fit for me. If I think I can help you. So yeah.
And I think it was great that we just that introductory video last month, and 6 people hit you up right off the bat.
It blew up. And that's the other thing I wanted to say is that my website, I haven't had time, but here's that time orientation thing. But I have to update my website. I want to put a lot of the new stuff on there. So I'm getting there. It's on the list of stuff I'm going to do. So I will be upgrading my website and putting some new stuff on there. Because like I said, I learned so much new stuff. I mean, in the course of a week, it's crazy. I'll order a book and then like, wow, I'm on to the next thing already, the next subject. And I just got the book. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Every time we talk, you've gone through another book
I know,
that you've fallen in love with. And
I know. I read a lot of books because people have written such great stuff. Books are great. I've always been a reader. So,
so Eileen, we'll wait for your answer, but we'll move on to some other questions too. Okay. So Erica asks, Linda, what's your response towards people who know they are high vibration like her?
Oh, well, is that a problem?
Yeah, Erica, did you consider that a problem, a gift? What do you consider that? Okay. Here's another question here from Don. Do you work with people afraid to drive over bridges? Asking for a friend. So fears. How do you work with people who have certain fears?
There's many ways to do that. I actually have a thing. I'm telling my whole life story here tonight. I have a thing when I drive over a bridge, the thought comes in my mind. Yeah, it's going to sound crazy, but I'm just a human being. I wonder what it'd be like to drive off the bridge. Every time I go over a bridge, I have that same thought. I just laugh now. But at first I was wondering about it. I'm like, what is this crazy thought? Now it's just a thought that comes in my mind. I don't even pay any attention anymore.
Yeah.
Because crazy thoughts come in your mind and they really don't. We have 90,000 thoughts a day. Okay. Why do we pay attention to some thoughts and not others? Which is one of the things I could talk to Eileen about. But most of the time they come in, they go out. That's the nature of thoughts. They come in, they go out. We just happen to pull, like the New York Stock Exchange, I always say the ticker tape. We just happen to pull one off the ticket tape because we're interested in, or we might believe that one might have something to do with me, or maybe I have a problem with that. But they're just thoughts. Your thoughts come and go all day. I wouldn't be paying too much attention to them, especially the thought I want to drive off the bridge. That's crazy. So people have some crazy thoughts. So you don't have to take any action or even believe what your thoughts are telling me. It's just the mind at work. That's all it is. Believe it or not. I know it sounds kooky. Now, what was the question again? I got lost in that.
Let's see.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a phobia. I mean, it's,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her fear.
Yeah. There's many ways.
So you work with people who have.
Yeah. There's many ways
fears.
to take care of phobias. There's all kinds of techniques, and even with the new stuff I'm doing, which I haven't used yet on phobias, but that'll be interesting.
Okay. And then Erica had asked about your response towards people who know they are high vibration.
Yeah.
And she considers it a gift.
Oh, okay, good. Then why would there be a problem? What part do you want to deal with?
Yeah, there you go, Erica. So follow up on that. So what would you want to be dealing with? Being high vibration enhances my psychic abilities.
Excellent. I like to work on that myself.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a few of those lately. So, yeah. And so I've kind of caught a glimpse of a little bit of reading about why that would be. So when you work with the mind and you're clearing your mind and you're in the moment, you've opened yourself up to new stuff coming in. So that's what I'm seeing with myself. So yeah, that's going to be something, probably one of the next roads I'm going to pursue.
Really?
Oh yeah. Let's look into. Yeah. I'm fascinated by the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. And Erica says, no, it's not a problem, which is good to know.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Cool. Okay. So folks, do you have any questions for,
Wait a minute, I see Amy there. I'm saying, hi, Amy.
Oh, from Wisconsin. We have a lot of followers in Wisconsin, which is great. Cool. Eileen, we asked you about your the imposter question. Are you an imposter? That's the question that Linda's posed
are you an
to
imposter? You said you feel like an imposter, are you?
And Glenna has a comment here too. I know people who seem to be watching themselves critically with every breath they take. They're hypervigilant to their own image, second guessing, apologetic. They seem like characters, not real.
Yeah. It's just how their mind is working. So it's not really working for them, is it? So it's like, you talked about, well, how are you doing this? So again, it's that vigilant, that's a trance. Something's gone on, in the past. We may or may not have to get to that. But that vigilance thing, I used to have that too. You're making sure you're kind of trying to take care of yourself. You don't want to let your guard down. So you think that you have to be vigilant. Let me just take a drink here.
But have a sip.
So you're trying to prevent yourself from getting into trouble, but it doesn't really work because it just really keeps releasing the cortisol and the stress hormones, and you're really wearing yourself out. That self-vigilance is that does, it works on your brain. It really does. So you have to, get to the point where you don't have to, but that's what we work on, is getting just to trust yourself, see these thoughts for what they are, just thoughts going on in your brain. They don't really have to pay attention to them, or they're not even really real.
Well, we have two questions now from Eileen and Damon, who asks, how do you deal with the fear of failure?
I mean, it's basically all the same way. It's just the thought, it's like, so you get into the failure of what, how does that make you feel? See, I don't particularly think there is any such thing as failure. To me, it's just information. You're judging yourself and calling it failure. I don't use that word anymore.
Really?
No. Why would you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I use it often
I mean,
myself.
that's a Tony Robbins. He's big on that. He'll tell you that. I don't know. No such thing as failure. It's just information.
Hmm.
Where you got to go. What do you got to do next? You haven't got to what you want to do. Okay. What's the next step? Why would you call it a failure? You're not dead yet, are you? I mean, maybe in your last breath, you'll be like, I didn't get this done. But even then,
I should have had that blueberry muffin.
yeah, I should have had that blueberry muffin, but no, it's just information. You're the one who's really judging it as success or failure. I mean, what's success? Success to you is different to somebody else.
Sure.
Success to me is I get up in the day and I enjoy my day and I do what I want to do and I get to play and help people and paint and do all kinds of things. I just appreciate my day. To me, that's success, Even when I started this journey, I just said to myself, you know what? Because I started late in life. I mean, like 60. I was like, I don't really care if I accomplish what I set out to accomplish. I just want to have a heck of a time doing it. And my life has been enriched for the past 11 years, even with sickness and illness of people and stuff. Now it's, let that stuff get to you. Life
Michelle
is too
McClintock
precious.
has a nice quote here: "Adventures, not failures."
There you go. I like that even better.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Anna Lee. Yep, that is Linda's website, Brush with Life Hypnosis, if you want to learn more about her. And I think we'll be doing shows regularly, Linda, if you'd like to.
Oh,
And I don't know
absolutely.
if we should do like theme or topic specific. I mean, obviously, once we get into the live chat, you see what people respond to. Obviously, the procrastination topic was a huge one tonight, which was really cool too. So yeah, if you have questions, we're here to answer them.
Yeah, and there's deeper levels of answering the questions. So I'm kind of gauging how deep do I want to go.
Right.
So we'll see as we go along, because that's the other thing. If people come to you in different stages of their life, they can only understand at certain levels. So you don't want to go too far ahead of them when they can't understand what you're saying. I mean, I know a lot of people in real life say, well, I said this to the person and they didn't understand. What's the matter with them? They don't understand what I'm talking about. I said, yeah, they can't. They don't have the capability to understand. They don't understand that. That is what goes on in people's brains. If, at a certain level or a certain way a person looks at life, they don't understand what you're talking about. Especially it happens a lot with men and women. Okay. My husband,
is this Mars and Venus?
I say this to him and he looks at me like, yeah, because he doesn't get what you said. He's not hearing it how you think you said it. So again, it's, you think it he should be a certain way and he's not. So now that's where the problem comes in. Where's the rule book that says anybody should be a certain way?
Right.
He is how he is and what he's doing. You are what you do. Now work with that.
Now CM brings up a good point about failure. When people all your life call you a failure, or if you had teachers throw their hands up and give up on you, you might think you are a failure.
Yes. So yeah, you have that, you feel, so you would go in and say, well, you would get to, what does that mean to you? How does that make you feel? And you would, drill down into the feeling of that. And then it would probably show up somewhere in your body. And then it comes like in a cluster in your body. And so then we can go the way of breaking that apart. It's stuck energy, so we can break that apart and that helps to dissipate it. And then something might come. Or we could reframe it. There's different, like I said, depending on the level of the person, which way you want to go. Like I said, reframe it to be, well, that was their opinion. There is no such thing as failure. So that's a reframe of failure. Now some person might take that and run with it. So yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. And Damon himself has said, I just hate putting all my time and effort into something and not achieving my desired outcome.
Yes. Got it. So you call that a failure. Just hate putting all my time and effort, something and not achieving my, yeah. So what's the problem with that? I mean, so sometimes you work at things and they don't work out. Sometimes you work at things and they work out. Are you an artist at all? Or again, it's just information. So being a painter, you'll start the process, you'll take action, you'll do something, and it sucks. Okay, you're gonna make that a big problem. You're gonna go, sit home, have a drink, like, holy geez, I did this tonight. I painted. It's not coming. What am I gonna do about this problem? You're gonna either start over again, you're gonna give it a rest and come back and look at it. It's just part of the process. What are you supposed to do? Everything perfectly right out of the gate? No, it's just part of the process. You have things that don't work out. You have things that work out. That's part of life. Now, you might make a mistake. I love this part. I make a lot of mistakes in painting, and they call them happy accidents. They turn out to be, oh my goodness, I couldn't have done that if I had tried to do it.
Right.
That's beautiful. And then you run with it. So life is messy.
Yeah. And whenever I've talked to small business owners or people about to start a small business,
Yeah.
I always say, don't be afraid to make the mistakes.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to start learning. And that's where you need those. Like, you should be looking forward. Just keep trying. Don't keep yourself from trying things, and your own path will sort of.
Well, you've actually hit the nail on the head. Look forward to the mistakes, because you're going to make them.
Yeah.
But they don't say anything about you. It's just, you did this, it didn't work out. What has that got to do with you? It's your thinking process. So it's not the mistake itself that's the problem. It's what you think of that mistake. That's where the problem is. And if you look there, you'll see what you thinking about is really where that emotional problem is coming from. It's not the problem itself or the situation or, whatever it is. It's just not. That's not. Life is lived from the inside out. Okay. We don't experience life from outside reality, a person, a place, a situation. That's not where it happens. You can research this. You perceive life from the inside out. You're thinking about that situation. It's not the other way around. So you're going nuts over something that's not even a problem. It's just, what do I do next?
Tammy has a cool comment here. I'm learning a lot about my thinking and brain tonight. Thanks, Linda.
Oh, awesome.
Very nice. Oh, Michelle, thanks for the tip, hon. Thank you very much. Let's see. And thanks for all your help tonight too, Annalie, if I hadn't mentioned that too. Andrea, thank you for the excellent advice, which is great. Eric, I know you asked about Yoon, an old guy. I don't know. It's too early for Yoon to show up. Yoon is one of our longtime followers, and she lives in Singapore, which is a 12-hour time difference. And so we usually wait for Yoon to show up to say good morning when we wrap up our shows. But I don't know if she's going to be part of this tonight. But that's pretty funny. So she's almost become like a Norm on Cheers for us. So when she enters the chat room and says good morning, everyone's like, hey, Yoon. So anyway, so that's fun too. So, okay. Any other questions for Linda while we have her here? And then, Lynn, I guess we could talk about like what kind of schedule works for you. If we're doing this, whenever you like, if people think that we should have a sort of themed shows, like do we do deep dive into trances or procrastination or addiction or whatever it may be, like or you could, you brought plenty to the table tonight too, which was awesome as well. So, I mean, I think the show just sort of sorts itself out.
Yeah. I mean, I like answering questions because it makes me, it gives me something to talk about, Yeah.
And Damon's thanking you. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that you got something like, because it's hard to help you with your individual, issues in this format, obviously. So I'm trying to give my answers in a way that gives you something new to think about. Possibly maybe something you haven't heard before. And so that will, spur you on to look into it or, I mean, the brain is so powerful and the unconscious mind is so powerful. We don't even use it to our, as much as we can use it. And that's, what I've tried to optimize to help people like, look, this is how your brain works. Now, try this, try that, use this, because we just haven't been educated on the brain.
Right.
I mean, now, everybody's writing books and there's all kinds of neuroscientists, they're onto all this. They can measure the brain now. And it's amazing stuff they're doing.
Yeah. So if you have topics you'd like Linda, to touch upon, please fire my way. Don Mousie's already suggested phobias
Yep.
for
Yep.
one. Yep, we could get into that for sure.
Yep. So I saw one comment there that was kind of interesting.
You need me to scroll up?
Down, I guess.
It's up.
Oh, it's up. Well, that goes down. How can, down is up. Oh, okay. Now don't start on me now. So
What did you say?
So I saw, she said, you can't afford, when it's your livelihood, you can't afford to make mistakes. Well, I don't know how you're going to,
And just like that, look who just showed up on the chat. Good morning, Yoon.
oh,
That's what people wait for.
wow. So what time is it there?
It's 8 a.m. She's 12 hours ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Pretty cool, huh?
morning. Wow. Yes.
See? And here we go.
Yoon. Huh. That's a very interesting name, Yoon.
Awesome, huh?
Yoon is in the chat. Yoon is in the chat. Yeah, I can't believe it's almost over already. This is
Well, we can do whatever you want. But I try to set the table at the bottom of every hour and the top of every hour, because different people come in because they're following different shows and channels for certain times. They're on their own schedule. So Libra Lady has a good question. Is there a list of recommendations for books on your website?
not on my website, but I can tell you what some of them are. It just depends on what subject, because like I said, there's different levels of reading that that I would recommend to people depending on what they want to know. So what would be, where are you at? Do you want to know about the brain itself? Do you want to know about mind, consciousness, and thought? Do you want to know about hypnosis? What's your subject?
Yeah. What would you like to learn about? And then Linda can help you that way.
Who asked that question? What?
Where was that? Somewhere up here. Oh yeah, Libra Lady.
Okay.
Is there a list of recommendations for books on her website? No, but Linda's right here. We can get a recommendation right now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of great books that really would clear up and talk about what I'm talking about. It takes a little, reading about this stuff and paying attention to it and trying it on, because it's not what we're used to, and it will change your life. Yeah. I have some great books that are just life-changing books. Life-changing. Yeah. They've changed my life.
You have that expression every time you talk about another book that you've read.
I know.
You do.
Because people, when I read books now, I used to be a real seeker, and it got to the point one day where I got it. I said, okay, the seeking is over. The seeking is done. I don't need to seek out these big answers, questions, of life. But what I am looking for now in a book is, how can I communicate this to people and help them with it? Some people are so much better at how they communicate these big ideas. And that's what I'm combing these books for now, is who gets to explain this really, really well. And those are the books that I would recommend to people. I got a few great books that they just know how to talk about this stuff, and it's amazing.
So here's Libra, just general information, no specific problem. I meditate and do energy work.
Well,
you mentioned the Rupert Spira.
Yeah, that's okay. That's if you want to get into, the non-duality, direct route to happiness. That's the best book I've read on clearly explaining this. And that would be, I've read this book after I've read all my other books. This is the latest book I just got. And it's brilliant to, he simplifies the subject so that a novice really gets it. In fact, let me see, I got some notes here. And he has podcasts too. Yeah. See, so, okay. So here's something from a quote from his podcast I was just listening to today. He says, we think we need to escape the now to get rid of our future by going to the past or the future. Okay. Or our suffering. I must have been doing two things at the same time. So he says, the now is your refuge. So just like I said, ask yourself this question. If you've got something that's tugging at you, that obsessive feeling, and you can't stop thinking about it, just ask yourself, is this happening now in this moment? What about in this moment? How about this moment? Because that's all we really have. I mean, okay, so we're getting, deep into this, but when you think about it, the past is over. It doesn't exist anymore. It only exists as thinking in your mind. Memories freeze time. That's how the mechanism works. Memories freeze time. And now you can think about these memories, but they don't exist anymore. They're done. Every thought, here's a good one. So this is what's in this book if you want to get into it. Every thought is not now. Why? Because it comes from your archive of your brain, which is never in the moment. It's not your creative in the moment part. It's old regurgitated news from your past. It's the only way where thinking can come from. Okay. So now, okay, the future, you're thinking, you're imagining the future, what you're going to do next week. You're worried about you're going to fail at this, it doesn't even exist. You're making this whole story up in your mind for the future that doesn't even exist. So there's no past, there's no future. What do we got left? We got the present moment. Suffering cannot be in the present moment. It cannot be. What's in the present moment is pure awareness. Pure awareness. Being or consciousness. Kind of like they're all three are synonymous. Consciousness is the gift of knowing that we know. We're the knower of ourselves, the knowingness. It's kind of hard to say, but so you're thinking, like I said before, you're trying to escape this problem in the now, but that's an illusion. There is no problem in the now. It can't be. There's just awareness in the now, pure joy, happiness, love. Okay. That's how human beings are made, with an innate intelligence. People call it God, a divine intelligence, call it whatever you will. There is no past, there is no future, there's only now. So use that knowledge to break all of this stuff that's hooking you, that's catching you. That's what you can use it for. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It doesn't mean that it's not there. So it's like the old Zen story of, the guy, I think I told you about I think maybe the last time he walked down the path and he saw the snake and he was afraid.
Yep.
And then it turned out to be a rope. Okay. The reality of that illusion is that it was a rope, not a snake. So once you saw that it was a snake, did you have to go figure out, okay, let me think about this now. It wasn't a rope, it was a snake. And no, you got it. You saw it. It's over. It's done. There's nothing to figure out, nothing to do. If you see it, it's done. We have a lot of those kind of illusions. We think the cigarette is giving us a break, a rest. What kind of craziness is that? It's crazy. It's just an illusion. You're smoking a piece of poison. But in the moment, you need that break so much. You feel the urge is calling you. You go for it. Just break that spell. Just say, wake up, wake up. It's an illusion. If you can do that, that's fantastic. You don't need to go see anybody. But most people, it's definitely hard because it's so ingrained. You might have smoked for 40 years, but you know what? Some people have quit cold turkey. So, but the other thing is to do a little exercise. I got this one from Shinzen Young, who's another guy, if you want to read. He's like a guy who studied with the monks. So on 3 pieces of paper, what you can do is just a little exercise. Set your clock for 5 minutes. You put a check mark. You have 3 boxes: the past, the present, and the future. And you just notice your thoughts. So you say, is that thought in the past? Yep. Check the past box. Okay. Where's the next thought? Yeah, past. Okay. Future, past, present. And then you look at all the check marks and you'll see where your brain is. And this is where your brain is, you'll see the picture of it. I got the little, see the little block boxes, see? And then you'll see it's hardly ever in the present. Well, no wonder why you don't feel so great, because you're listening to all this nonsense. I'm a failure. That's a thought in your brain that somebody put in there. Okay, a teacher, whoever. Well, what would you listen to that nonsense for? Now that you know that's how it works, your brain, like Rumi said, what you're thinking is none of your business. That's why, because it's not coming from the authentic you. It's coming from the regurgitated archive in the brain. It's the only place that gets its information, because you thought that thought 1,000 times before, and it's looking for a shortcut. And it's like, hey, I'm going to say that's what you're doing. So let's say you're thinking you're a failure. Not true. Not true. So if you can catch yourself, and the more you catch yourself, say, hey, wake up in that trance, the less it's going to keep coming up, because now it's going to go down the new path. Neuroplasticity. It actually rewires your brain. It will do that. If you keep catching it, you will actually rewire your brain, and you'll do that less and less and less.
Fascinating. We have this question from Michelle Shelton. She's a big supporter of the channel. She says, Linda, I had a session once with a hypnotist to retrieve messages from a while ago that I couldn't remember. And she said it would bubble up and I would remember it, but never did. Any suggestion on that?
How long ago was it?
Yeah, Michelle, if you're still there, you can follow up with us. We're sitting here on the chat, so we'll wait for Michelle's answer. Here's a question from Jonathan Bowen. Ever hear of boarding school syndrome? Oh, Michelle is with us. Has abandonment issues, trust issues, jealous, isolated feeling. I did 6 years of military school and have had real problems. Have you ever heard of that?
Where is that question? Let me see. Oh,
it's
yeah.
Right here.
Boarding school syndrome. Well, I mean, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there, yeah.
Jeez. I mean, so I can't give you the answer, right now, but yeah, I mean, again, they all come down to your conditioning. I could imagine that was traumatic, the abandonment issues. So it's a lot of stuck energy in the body, trust issues, jealous, isolated feelings. I mean, we take one at a time, and see. Sometimes when you do one issue, it sort of, links to the other issues. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Do you meditate at all? Do you read about the brain? Do you do anything to sort of on your own look to see, how all this stuff works? Or is this just all of a sudden you felt like you've had these problems and you have no idea what to do? I'd have to know where you're at, what, because you can kind of think maybe consciously this is what they all are, but who knows? I don't know. You get into a session and all of a sudden it's something, none of those. And you're like, well, where the heck did that come from? Because it's all connected in there. It's amazing, So yeah, I mean, if you want to send me an email and, we can talk.
Yeah, what's your email address? Or can they do that through the website? So you can do that through brushwoodlifehypnosis.com. Annalie just put the website up there for you. To follow up on Michelle Shelton's question. So this happened 20 years ago. And the hypnotist was only 1 year after the information was told to me, but didn't think I needed to know it.
Yeah.
At the time, my mother told me. She just answered.
So the information was only 1 year after the information was told to me, but didn't think I needed to know it. So, it was 1 year after the information was told to me. So now I'm not sure about the information. Well, I mean, sometimes like I've done hypnosis, and couldn't get to a particular issue either. And so I just assume that, yeah, my unconscious is not telling me this. So it holds back information. It's not telling you this for the reason. But see, I'm to the point, like, I don't care. My unconscious is not telling me that for the reason. I don't really need to know the reason. Because this came up in the session when I did the cancer session, looking for the emotional component. And so it's like, that's in the past. It doesn't even exist. So I could just let that part go. I just know it was connected because I saw when I was being hypnotized, I saw the different memories coming up forward, backwards, because memories are a funny thing. They're not the same memory. A memory remembered is never the exact same memory. Can't be. The scientists have already proven that. So hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be all other kinds of things are going to be attached to it. So I'm like, well, what do I get? And it was, I could see middle things. I could see modern things that were coming up in the session. I couldn't get to what this particular trauma was, and I wasn't getting any answers. But in the end, I didn't care because it was all an illusion anyway. It was just something my mind was telling me, and I didn't need to know the details of it. So I guess it depends. Now, sometimes that, maybe your unconscious didn't want, I don't know, maybe it'll still come up. Your unconscious mind is running the show. It's going to do what it does. Maybe you really weren't hypnotized that deep and really didn't get, who knows? I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's hard to answer that question because there's all kinds of things that possibly, could happen. Or maybe it came up and you didn't recognize that was the answer to what you thought it was.
Right.
It's kind of, can be a little complex.
Tammy says, Linda, this is all excellent information. Thank you so much. Fine in Phoenix says, Corey, please list the books Linda recommends in the description section. So were there a couple that you mentioned by? I can just type in here. Michelle says, thank you so much for the advice. Well, thanks for the question, Michelle. We appreciate it.
Well, if you just want to get started in mind, consciousness, and thought, there's the Inside Out Revolution. And anybody out there, let me know if you've read some of these books. I'd be interesting to hear.
Here's one.
That's Michael Neal is the author.
Do you know how Neil is spelled?
I think it's Neil, I think. Neil. Or maybe
Just
one L, I think, yeah. And then a good book for addictions is The Little Book of Big Change by Amy Johnson. And she wrote another book called It's Just a Thought. And these all talk about the nature of minds, consciousness, and thought. And it gives you a good basic idea of that we are not our thoughts, that all of our emotions come from our thinking, not from the outside reality. And that right there, if you really see that, not just get it intellectually, that will change how your relationship with your mind and how you function in life. That alone right there will change your life. If you really can see that, then you won't be reacting to the world, people, places, and things. You'll be able to just step back and make a clear choice as to how you want to react, what you want to say, what you want to do. That was a game changer for me.
I should point out too that above Linda's head, those are actually the neighbor's windows, and they're watching TV. The house is not haunted. Not that I know of, but you'll see that the lights are flickering there above your head.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Pretty funny stuff. So we are after the 8 o'clock hour here, Eastern Coast time. She is Linda Szabo, a hypnotherapist and a change worker. This is her first sit down with me in a live setting, her first time interacting with you all in a live chat, which has been awesome tonight. If you want to learn more about her, just go to brushwithlifehypnosis.com. And we're here to answer a couple more questions if you have time for. Do have time for that? Do you?
Absolutely.
Linda? Yeah. So fire away if you have anything. And then, the idea is we have Linda on every now and then, and maybe it's themed. Maybe Linda's going to say, Corey, we need to talk about this. And we bring that to the table and then kind of see where the chat goes. But this has been a fun couple of hours already. So let's see. Erica asks, when people pass away and are brought back instantly, why are there some people who see a white light, friends, family, God, etc., but others experience nothing once they return? Why?
Mm, I have no idea.
Mm.
So that's a big question. I've actually thought about this stuff a lot. I've heard all kinds of and read and um different descriptions of people who say they've been brought back and who say that they see this and say that. And then there's the scientific proof of how the brain is not dead and all this. So it's not an area that I've really looked into. But I don't rule anything out in life. You know, I just stay open to everything now. I'm still a skeptic, but I'm an open-minded skeptic now. Yeah. Cause like, really? Yeah, you show me, but I missed out on a lot of stuff that way because I said, oh, that's not possible. And then I find out 20 years later, Jesus, I was wrong. So 20 years I could have been using this stuff, but I said, no, that couldn't be. So I don't do that anymore.
Right.
So I just stay open to everything, but I haven't really, I haven't delved into that yet. So I don't really know the answer to that question.
But we should be with Annette same time next week,
Ask
Erica, if
her
you
that
want to ask
question.
them. That might be a good one. So actually, Annette and I might be doing our show next week from the Schooner Adventure. Like on the schooner. They asked us to do a show there. So we'll keep you posted on that. So pretty cool.
So you'll be waving,
I don't know if we're gonna. I think we might just be on the deck because they have a couple morning sessions where they let anyone can kind of just walk about the deck and ask the crew some questions and do that. And so we might answer some people's questions in real time, or we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, that's supposed to be happening soon. We're gonna do a show at Hammond Castle at some point soon too. So that would be interesting. Eileen's asking me how Gloucester is. Gloucester sign is beautiful out here tonight. So we're back. We had 1 day of rain. We might have got, I don't know, half an inch or so of rain a couple of days ago. And now we're back into our hot pattern again. So summer's not going to give up yet.
Not yet, but it's over soon. It's sad to see the summer.
Are you a summer person?
I am. I mean, I like the winters here too, because I paint and I love the winter landscape,
Oh,
but
no kidding.
yeah. But
I was gonna what kind of paint are you? Landscape,
you didn't know I was a
seascape?
painter?
Well, I did know, but I didn't know what you paint.
Well, I do
oil.
both. I mean, I do landscapes and I do my larger works are abstract and now, but I just love the colors of winter. I don't know, just it's beautiful around here, especially here. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
So yeah, it's a great place to live. I love it.
Very cool. Yeah, so all's well here, Eileen. Amanda Engels asks, how about the trauma around coworkers? The teamwork is dissolving. And she's ready to find another job, and it saddens me. So,
Oh, so it's trauma around saying goodbye. What's the food work? I don't get that.
Maybe that's the industry. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, sometimes it's okay to be sad.
Sure.
I mean, we have emotions. We are emotional human beings. It's just that if it's a problem and if it, then there's something going on. But, you can be sad, saying goodbye to people. That's kind of, that's kind of a normal thing.
Yeah.
But you said it's trauma around the coworkers. So that's a pretty strong word. So is it trauma or are you just sad to say goodbye?
Yeah. Or that the ship is sinking. If the company's dissolving or if they're, new ownership, or you never know. That sort of uneasiness at work.
Full of endings and new beginnings.
True.
But again, it's how you deal with this stuff. And once you get to know how you do this, that's the key. Then you're not going to be just taken away by anything that happens. You're going to feel a little sadness if it's just that, or if it's a trauma, you're going to look and see what's going on, and you'll be able to, notice how you think, what's going on. It was just a thought. No, it's just a thought. It's going to come. It's going to go. Let it go. It's just a lot easier to live this way. I can't really explain it, but it's a different way of living when you know how your mind works.
Tammy S is asking, what's your zodiac sign?
Oh, my zodiac sign. Oh my goodness. You mean like I don't even know. I'm not really into that.
Really?
I'm a Gemini, but yeah, no, I haven't gone down. Again, that was one of those things I looked at years ago, and I'm like, okay. And I haven't got back to that one yet. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating stuff.
I let them tell me.
Oh,
I give them.
yeah.
I had a long session with someone did my astrological chart,
Oh,
just based on my exact time of birth, date and
oh,
time of birth,
oh,
and that was cool. But to me, it's like they're the ones who educate me on this stuff,
yeah,
and they'll
yeah,
ask me questions. They give them like, oh no, you're this and this and this
yeah.
and this. Or,
No, I haven't delved into that yet. I mean, just so much, I delve into it all. I need another lifetime, really. Everything fascinates me, but
yeah. Hey,
yeah.
what do you think happens after this lifetime? Do you think something?
I'm still wondering about that. I know we're all energy. That's my belief. This is what I'm starting to see. Now, how that manifests itself, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of it anymore, like I used to be as a kid when I first realized that, there is such a thing as death. It's like, who thought of this idea? Wow, what a dirty trick this is. And I mean, it puzzled me for a while. It's like, really? I'm not going to be here anymore? That was startling to me. But I think I found that out in Bambi, the mother dies.
Oh, geez, right.
It's like it was traumatic. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're all energy. I'm not sure. I'm open to anything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know. I hope something's going on after this. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's really amazing here. We're on this big round ball of space. We're sitting here, it's dark of night. We're spinning around. It seems like we're standing still. And we're breathing in oxygen. We're being held on that. We'd float away if it wasn't for gravity. Okay. I mean, this in and of itself is pretty darn amazing. I mean, if you just thought about that every day when you woke up, and we're out in space in this vast, vast space, how many galaxies are out there?
Countless,
Millions.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Countless galaxies. And we're just this beautiful planet, in the midst of all this. I mean, and then think about us, human beings, how aren't we miracles? Aren't we walking miracles? I mean, I'm talking to you, understand what I'm talking about. We've created language. Our brains have evolved themselves. Okay, up to this point. I mean, that I find to be absolutely fascinating. And it even figured out how to create the I. Like, I am. There is no I. That's another thing. There is no I. The brain created this illusion of I.
Yeah, you could go on all night.
Yeah.
You love this stuff.
I do.
Yeah.
And it's really good news. I know for some people it's probably like, what are you talking about? But at first I didn't think it was such great news. But now I'm like, yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah. So that's another thing, as you get on in these books to start delving. And the I is just made up by the brain. Just saying.
And there you have it. Oh, so Eileen has a comment here. Corey, my mom, who died in 2018, still yells in my ear if I don't clean things right.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
Still hear that voice.
Well, if you want to still hear that voice, you can, or you can actually change that voice. Yeah. You can make it softer. You could, see it in a sentence and make it big letters. You could manipulate because we see things, we hear things, we feel things. So you can, if you change all of that in your mind, it affects how it comes through again. So, in NLP, they do that a lot. So you could just.
What's NLP?
Neuro-linguistic programming. So they'll take that voice and you can just, have it be a whisper every time you hear it. I mean, if it works for you and you get to clean,
really?
then do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Once you've manipulated that, then it doesn't come back in the same way again. They figured out the coding of that. That's the power of that stuff. It's amazing. A lot of different techniques they use. So when you see things, you can change. Like if you see somebody in work that you don't like, you can give them a Mickey Mouse voice in your head every time they talk, and that makes you laugh, you know. Or you could see them as you could shrink them down in your mind, you can close your eyes and just shrink them down and have them be like a little person on your hand, you can blow them away. Really. And then you every time you think of that person, you see them like that. And then it just takes away that sting, especially if you don't like the person. Yeah, I had a person like that once I was working with, and oh my God.
You shrunk him and just
busted
him.
Well, him, I got that he was my father. So I did a little, because I know too much stuff. So yeah, he was definitely my father. And so I was reacting to him because he was presuming to know things that I wasn't saying or thinking. And that just really aggravated me. So I said, okay, what's this about? It's not about him. I knew that. And I finally got to it. My father used to do that to me all the time, So once I broke that spell, then I just laughed. I mean, he would ask me to do things. If I wanted to do it, I would. If I didn't, it was not a serious thing anymore.
Yeah.
He was actually entertainment for me.
It's like, whatever.
Yeah. It was whatever. And that was great because you don't want to be aggravated by people. No.
Cool.
No, life's too short.
Yeah. So Linda, if you want to leave folks with something tonight before our next show, what do you want to leave them with? I mean, we do have, of course, the website link, brushwithlifehypnosis.com. If you want to learn more, contact Linda in any way to work with her in some capacity. And we know that happened the first time we did a show together. So we've had a bunch of great questions tonight too.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
The questions are fantastic. Just, I would say, when your brain is working, when you're going out around in life, just be curious. Ask if something comes up, just ask, be like the Columbo, let me ask you a personal question. Just say, what's up? What's up? What do you want to tell me? And he'll tell you something. You'll either see something, hear something, feel something. Just be quiet and wait for something to come up, because that's how the brain works. It's going to tell you something. So awareness and curiosity, that's what got me to where I am today. Just being aware of what's going on, because we're mostly very busy. We don't listen. We're just chatting. And I know I talk a lot, but just start to get a curiosity about your own mind, and you'll be surprised what's in there. Very cool.
And then I'll probably have a live question gathering session for the next show with Linda once we announce that date. I may replay this over the weekend as well. And we just did a show a couple nights ago. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, Tuesday night I did a show with Meredith on pet care questions. That was really strong too. And then we're back on track with Annette, I believe, next Wednesday evening. And so I'll let you guys know what the schedule is like sometime this weekend. I'll post that usually in the community tab. So what you think, Linda?
Thought it was fantastic. I like the Edgar Case quote right there. You guys have all these great things to say. Do I believe in hell exists? I don't know. Well, I'll save that question for later. I don't want to get into those religious questions too much, but be like Columbo, great vision for the week. Thank you guys. I like that. Yeah, he's one of my favorite. And think of your favorite detectives too, because they say some of the greatest stuff, and there's some wisdom in there. You can find wisdom in a blueberry muffin. I mean,
geez, that's what you should have left us with.
Who would have thought, huh?
I'm telling you what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
I've broken up my love affair with blueberry muffins. So you can love.
We have dozens of people from Wisconsin and Virginia eating blueberry muffins tomorrow morning.
Only if it's gluten free and it's made with a sugar substitute. Okay, then maybe. But
yeah. Well, very cool. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit, Linda. Awesome. I can't wait to do this again.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so glad that I got to talk with you and interact. This is like, oh God, a dream come true. Love it.
Yeah. Thanks for all the support with the channel, all the subscriptions, all the thumbs up, all of that stuff helps as well. Annalie, thanks again for wielding the wrench tonight. We'll let you know, of course, with the big show with Annette coming up next week. I believe that'll be 6:30 Eastern time. Probably here on the deck, maybe on the schooner adventure. We got to figure that stuff out because we're starting to lose daylight now, so I have to get more lights around here. But that was it. Thanks for all your time. We appreciate all the eyes and ears. And Linda, of course, your gifts and your time and all the work you've done.
Thank you.
Brushwithlifehypnosis.com if you want to get in touch with Linda and do a deeper dive or have, do some of that one-on-one work.
The muffin's coming up. Oh my goodness.
Everyone, that is the theme of the night. Like, where's the muffin emoji? All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Have a great